Hey guys, welcome back to the Push Podcast. I'm Janelle Copeland.
And I'm Edward the Copeland. Yeah, everybody shouts from the treetops.
What are you? What kind of intro was that?
I'm so focused on all this technology stuff. I was out of sync. Okay.
Explain what you're talking about. People don't know what you're doing right now.
C on the ones and twos. Edward Joseph Copeland in the house. Yep, that's me.
All right. Well,
I'm still not convinced we got to continue to introduce ourselves, but
we have new people listening all the time, and you don't want to introduce yourself and say who you are?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We'll stop saying who we are. This is episode 154, and
coming straight to you live by some complete strangers.
That's ridiculous, honey. Okay, so we kind of have some good news. Yesterday, in the previous. What is this called? It's a podcast. In the previous episode, we talked about how we were going to be showing up on TikTok, just having fun with it, no expectations, because I just went to VidCon. And so we started a TikTok called We Are the Copelands. Yes. If you listen to the Push Podcast, if you watch it, you should definitely follow us on TikTok.
Right.
And so yesterday we're sitting there and Eddie is on TikTok. We're at Jasmine's party. We're having a birthday party. She just turned 21. Shout out to Jasmine. And you say, look at this.
Yep.
And I said, I don't have my glasses on. What does it say?
Blind as a bat, y'all.
And it was like 300,000 views on this one TikTok.
At that point, it was 500.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, it was 490 something because we were like, oh my God, 500,000 views.
Crazy.
So then we were like, oh, that's kind of viral. Like we went viral. And I want to just tell you that in the last episode said, we're just going to have fun with it. We're just going to kind of show people who we are and make fun, which is what we do. We have a funny relationship. And so we were like, what are some things that are relatable for couples? And we did something where I got in bed and then I asked you to get me water, change the air conditioning, check all the doors and windows. And that seems to be something that is a hit with people because other married couples are like, I thought we were the only ones. Right. So, it went viral. So we're like, oh, wow. Okay. And then a couple hours later, you're like, it's at 800,000 views. I'm like, wait, what? People care about that? There were other ones we put up that were, I think, funnier, but this was relatable for people. Right. And so then right now, as we're recording this, it says 4.2 million views on this TikTok.
We're famous, y'all.
It's crazy.
It's like we won a lotto. Can everybody just give us $1?
No, there's no money involved in this. We didn't win anything. I think it's fun more than anything. It's like laughable because we're literally just like, no expectations, put some stuff out, share about us, and it'll just be fun. Yeah. And so we're trying to make it fun. It's a lot of fun when people pay attention and they also think it's fun.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think did you think you learned something through this process?
Well, the funny thing is at VidCon, they were like, in the beginning, you should just be consistent and be yourself. Like just post about whatever you think is relatable because your tribe will find you. Right. And so we did that this week and we were like, all right, let's do one in the morning. We'll have something simple in the afternoon and then we'll do another fun one in the evening. So we've been doing 3 per day, just quick stuff though, like not overthinking. Nothing is a production. The one that went viral, Jordan was holding it in our bedroom, like nothing but just fun. Right. So it hasn't been a chore, but I'm not going to lie. After like the 7th day, I was like, okay, we got 48 followers. This is fun, but this is also a lot of work, right? Like to find cool ideas. And I was spending a lot of time on TikTok that I normally would not. I just wouldn't be on social media that often. I mean, I think this week I sent you a bunch of like, oh, this is funny. Oh, we should do this. We should figure out something for this. And it did take up a lot of my time. So I felt like it was like God's way of saying, well, I'm just going to show you that if you did what you said you were going to do, I'm going to give you a little bit of love. Yeah. So it was exciting, but I would be lying if I said, if I wasn't considering, maybe we don't need to do this 3 times a day. This is kind of excessive. Right. So I think the learning is if I was promoting a business, if I was really trying to grow a brand, if I was really invested in, hey, I want to see this do well, then you should show up and you should be consistent and you should just be faithful over few and you should just make it fun and keep it simple. And eventually you're going to put something out that someone will like.
Yeah, it's interesting because you take these things that at the end of the day is not a huge thing. Like it's not going to change the world.
No.
But if you take them and you actually look at them and learn from them and say, wow, this is another example of you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to create this extraordinary production.
Yeah.
You just need to be consistent. And you need to keep showing up and doing the work. And then there's always going to be a pop or reward of some sort. Like I was texting my brother and I said, you know, the universe will reward you for hard work and consistency. So don't worry. Just keep your head down and continue to work at stuff. And so although it's fun, but like we still can pull from that and say, okay, the next time we try something new, just like this podcast, we've been consistent and growing this audience. At some point, it just strikes. And then all of a sudden you go, but then sometimes you forget, you think, oh, it was just that one thing. But you're not thinking about it was all the other things that led up to it. Like it's all the podcasts that led up to that one TikTok post and everything else that we've done that kind of led us to just like, okay, let's stay with this and stay consistent.
Yeah.
So I think that's
and
great.
I want to be clear, like the TikTok thing, I don't think everybody is on TikTok for 7 days and you have a video that has millions of followers or views, right? And I'll just tell you, views don't really mean anything because not everybody is following us.
Right.
We're still like, oh, we have 1,200 followers. So cool. That's better than 56 or 48, right?
Especially when you're starting something from nothing. Like, and sometimes people are intimidated by that. They're like, I'm not starting a new page or I'm not starting on Instagram because like I'm seeing all these people with millions of followers.
And I don't want to be a beginner.
Yeah, I'll never get to that place. And now I'm thinking, oh, this actually can happen. Like, staying consistent for a few months and you know, maybe not always hitting 4 million or whatever it is, but now having some things that, you know, do a couple 100,000 or whatever the case may be. And all of a sudden before you know it, you're like, oh, wow, did you see how many followers we have?
Yeah. And we're not there yet. Right. No. But I want to use this as an example for someone to not get discouraged. Hold on. I have to cough. Like, don't get discouraged. If you've been doing it longer than 7 days and you haven't had something go viral, right? But also when you bring up the podcast, we've been consistent for 154 episodes.
Right.
Like in the beginning, there was maybe like friends and family and like coworkers that were listening. And now we have kind of earned in 154 episodes, which is almost 3 years.
Yeah.
We have earned a following now, right? So it doesn't always happen in a week.
No, nothing ever happens in a week. Are you okay over there?
No.
Everything takes time. It's a process. And I think that what we're talking about, and for those of you who maybe have a business, you don't have a business, but it's social capital from a standpoint of like, you know, those followers you turn into something that could monetize. But at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is put out quality things that are quality content that people actually, you know, get something from, right? There's some value in it, whether it's a laugh, whether it's, you know, it's something you're spreading some information, some knowledge that can help people. That's the beauty of social media. I think it gets we put a dark cloud on it because it, you know, it could be addictive, and then also like there's other pieces that are not so helpful, right?
Well, yeah, it'd be very unhelpful if I was like obsessed with the following number, obsessed with like we got to do this, it's got to be perfect. That video is an example of that. We were literally laying in bed, no makeup, no nothing, and it was like, this is the idea. Ask Jordan like to film it, and it worked, right? So I guess the point I'm trying to make was this was just supposed to be a quick 2-minute thing of hey, we have a video that went viral, cool. But as always, we're trying to teach you some sort of lesson. The lesson is don't be afraid to be a beginner. Don't be afraid to start with 0 when people have millions. Like, it'll be fine. And so I'm proud of us for being okay being beginners, right?
Yeah, 100%.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And then I'm also proud of us for almost reaching 155 episodes of the podcast.
Yeah. You said something I think it's really cool. Like, how often are you the beginner at something? How often do you dare to like begin something brand new from nothing? I think a lot of people avoid being, you know, doing something that requires you to be a beginner, requires you to be someone that's naive to how something works. And because I think we've talked about it before, like people are afraid that to fail, to look silly. And I think that when you do start something new and you post things on social media or you create something and no one is paying attention, like that, like your ability to stay with it, your ability to have perseverance and be diligent, I think the universe rewards you for it.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm here for it.
You know what's funny?
Shower me with rewards.
You know what's funny when we're talking about like people don't want to start because they don't want to fail. I don't think we think about this often, but people don't think about the fact that when you start a relationship, it's likely not going to work.
Okay.
It's just not, because you start a relationship, you know, you go out on a couple of dates and he's probably not the one. I'm just going to say it, because not everybody you go out with is going to be like husband or wife material, right? Or more people would be married. There'd be less divorces. And so I find that often I have friends or even family members that are going to go on a date and they're more afraid to go on the date, like almost like they'd rather not go on the date, because what if it doesn't work? And I go, it probably won't. But so what? Go out and have fun. This is practice. Like dive in. Yeah. Like what could you learn about yourself? And they don't want to be beginners in a relationship.
So I was reading something that said that like 85% of our thoughts are negative, right? And so to relate it to your point, 85% of our thoughts are negative. And then what we end up doing is 95% of the time, the negative thoughts that we think about consistently, we end up manifesting and them coming true. And so you think about the fact that when you think about being a beginner or starting a relationship, where people have already concluded that what they are thinking about, the negative thoughts that they have that are in their imagination, have already come to fruition. And so why even start? Because I've already lived this thing out through my mind. Why would I even start? But the cool thing about like doing things that you're uncertain about, or that you're unsure, or maybe you feel like you haven't had a good history with, is that rush that you can get from something like that excites you, that scares you a little bit. And I think that as I get older, I start to think about like doing different things, doing something new, going on a vacation, or whatever it is. Like there's a point where you say, God, this is living, even though this is uncomfortable, but this is what it means to be alive. And we talked about this before when it comes to like folks that are starting a relationship, or they haven't been dating for a while and they want to start dating, and all of a sudden they start to do that. Like, oh, I don't want to even start because it's not going to end well. But you're missing out on a time to actually feel alive. Yeah. Right? Don't you agree? Like, I think
1,000%. Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that we're the kind of people, first of all, that look at like glass half full, right? We're looking at the beauty of things. So if you're going out on a first date, it's like, okay, well, this could be cool. I have butterflies. Like maybe I went to the gym for a week leading up to, like, what did you become while preparing for that? Even if it doesn't work out, like, did you learn like, oh, definitely don't like bald guys, or definitely don't like guys who chew too loud, or whatever, right? You're going to learn something that you'll be able to take with you. And so I don't know. I just feel like we don't want to be beginners in anything, but lately I've been hearing people not want to be beginners in relationships or in dating.
Yeah. And that's interesting, because you think about like what you said about like leading up to it, you do things to prepare.
Oh, for sure. Women are going to get waxed. They're going to do their eyebrows. They're going to try on a new shade of lipstick.
But like, I feel like
you're going to go to the gym.
Like self-renewal things.
You need that.
Maybe we should dead ourselves so that we do that just for no reason. So,
do you want to pretend that we're going to go on like our very first date soon?
Yeah, and just pretend. Oh, that'd be great. And then like how long are we going to push it out? So
okay, we wouldn't be able to do this without laughing, honestly.
Like 4 weeks from now, like we're going to go on a date and we get to prepare for this date.
I feel like I'd need to not see you.
Oh.
Because I can't just be like, okay, like go action, like pretend I don't know you.
Right.
We tried this before on a date. We've done this before where I was like, you said something like, you know, well, what if I was trying to flirt with you? What if I said this? I'm like, corny, don't say that. Like, you would never hear from me again. I'm afraid that if you dated me right now, corny? I wouldn't choose you.
Are things corny because you know me?
Potentially, but
that is
mostly
so wrong.
Not. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't remove the bias. I've been married to you almost.
You have to remove the bias.
I've been with you for almost over 18 years. I can't just be like, oh, I'm going to pretend it's all new and like I've never heard his corny jokes before. I can't do that.
I have corny jokes?
honey, your jokes are great, but they're corny.
Wow, the things you learn about people when they're like,
oh my God,
the stream of consciousness.
You're getting off track.
Talking.
Okay, I have something to talk to you today about that I think will be interesting for our listeners. And I came across this article. It's called 20 Things People in Relationships Should Not Have in Common.
Right.
Should not
have in common. Okay.
And this is why it caught my attention, because I think people think that you have to find things in common with someone in order to date them.
Oh, 100%. There's so many people I talk to, they're like, if I go on this date or if I meet this person, I have to have like things in common.
Right. Well, you should have some things in common.
But I think they put like all the weight in like, do we agree on this?
Yeah.
And maybe it's just core value things, but I feel like, I don't know if I was assessing whether or not we had many things in common. I don't know if men go down that path of like, oh, she's got to have this in common with me, this in common with me, this in common with me. She's got to have this, same political.
But let's just be real. Don't you, as men, look for different things than women? Like,
yeah, but
we're vetting you for so many things. Like, is he gonna nurture my feelings when? Is he gonna be mean to me when I'm on my period and I'm a raging lunatic?
Well,
is he going to
be mean to me?
Is he gonna shop for my pads? Is he gonna do my daughter's hair if we ever have children together?
Right.
Is he a provider? Is he driven?
Are you really thinking about
Does he
all those
look
things?
Decent? Can I bring him around my friends? Is he going to be respectful to my family?
Okay.
And then there's like the secondary things. Does he snore really loud to where it's unbearable? Do his feet stink? Does he have gross habits? Like, there's so many things that we have to run through.
I think
this
that's
like
too much.
I know. If you had to tell me like what you're really looking for, I think it's no mystery. It would start with like some sort of physical attraction. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and is she driven? Is she smart? Yeah,
but not all guys want someone to be driven.
Maybe not.
What do you think the top 3 things are? Because I just gave you 22 that we're looking for. Those are top 22, by the way.
Right.
Like those are non-negotiables. Like, is he going to be good for my family? Will he hold a job?
I think attraction, number 1.
Okay.
Men are just, we're simple creatures.
Women, we don't care so much about that. I mean, I think that we do and we should.
Right.
But I think that there are more ugly men in the world than there are ugly women. So pickings are slim.
Right.
I don't know, ladies. Let me know if I'm telling the truth. But there are less attractive guys, I think, than there are.
Maybe it has something to do with the population.
Makeup. We can wear makeup. We can have extensions. Like we have assistants. You guys, I feel sorry for you guys.
Yeah,
you have
just
nothing.
Come as we are.
Yeah, if you're ugly, you're ugly. And I'm being funny about it, obviously. I'd never call anybody ugly, but there's certain things, like if he's got a great personality and he makes me laugh, I'm going to look past the fact that you're not like a 10 aesthetically.
Right.
I just am.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But for how long?
I mean, it'll get to me.
Yeah.
Because then I have the secondary things that kick in. Like, are his teeth crooked? Like, teeth are a big deal to me.
Right.
Teeth, hygiene, and like cleanliness. Huge for me.
Right.
And those are things we have in common.
Right.
Right. So this podcast, though, is about things you should not have in common.
All right, let's go. Let's do
so I asked you the question, though. I said, what things do you think is it beneficial to not have in common? Give me one that you had. You should not share what? You
should not share having a very quick temper.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
I think if both parties have, quick fuses and snap, then that is a toxic and electrifying relationship. You
charge me, I'm charged, you're charged, let's go.
Like anybody can snap in any moment of time. So I think that you should not have that in common. Yeah. Someone has to be level-headed. I think that there needs to be different degrees of temper in the relationship.
100%.
So like you are like, short fuse. I am a long fuse.
Wow. Did you just blast me like that? Wow. Do you think I have a short fuse?
I think there's times you're a little edgy.
Yeah. I'm not going to dispute that.
Yeah, I think like you do some like a little bit of stacking when you're on edge, or if you're irritated, you'll just start taking everything, and then it just makes that little fuse, and then before you know it, you just snap, and then I'm like, oh my god, no.
And the snap is not like that. Don't make it look like that. But the snap is okay. This and this happened. I'm out. Like, You're right. I'll stack. Okay. I've been sitting here. I've been tolerating this. Now I'm going to lose my shit.
Yeah. And I have a long fuse, but I think I have a larger bomb. Like
yeah.
When the fuse is gone, then you've hit it's nuclear.
I think that has happened maybe 3 times in our marriage. You know, the time we've been together for 18 years. Your fuse is so long, it's almost questionable if you have a fuse, to be honest. It's like, hello, I've told you before, I want you to snap and be like the angry black dad on TV and just like go crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's questionable as to whether you actually have a fuse, but you're right. When I've seen you angry, I'm like, bro, you're going to have to get yourself together. Like, what is wrong with you actually?
Right.
So you're right. Anyways, you should not share the same temperament when you guys have a temper. That is number 5 on this list. It's being a hothead.
Mind you, people, I have not seen this
Never
list.
seen the list before.
Right.
This is on bustle.com.
Can I give you another one?
Can I give you the first one?
Okay.
Number 1, couples should not share the same employer. You should not be working for the same company. Explain why that's so funny.
Oh, because for obvious reasons. I mean,
no, nobody knows what's obvious.
So this is true. You're absolutely right. I think when you have the same employer, especially if you have the same boss, let's just go first employer. The problem is that people's careers move at different places, right? And so you start to compare yourself to your spouse, your career. One person's career is moving along, the other person's is stagnant. The other person is seeing success in the same work, and the other person may be struggling, and that could bring some resentment. That could bring some frustration. And if, like, for us, he's
speaking from experience.
I was
you
young.
Guys.
And so obviously,
and immature.
And so your ego is really, really out of control.
Well, I just want to tell you, I'm proud of you for like acknowledging this. Like, there's a saying that I've been sharing with people. Like, I can't even remember where I heard it, but share from your scars and not your wounds. Right. It's so powerful though. Like, you can't talk about shit when you're in the thick of it because it's painful.
Because when I was wounded.
Right. You were acting like a little bitch. Just kidding.
No, but and so not to get into like any details on that, but I would say that it was tough at times, but it was great at times.
But wait, the details are we worked for the same company, we had the same boss,
had the same position, you know, stores in our locations were in different places of the city, which gives you a different customer, which all the things that come along with that type of cocktail of differences. And then you see like like your career was moving along. I was having trouble in my little
I feel like you're
store.
Smirking at me right now.
I'm not smirking.
Yeah, it's kind of funny though.
No, why am I smirking?
Well, so we worked in leadership, corporate leadership. We were in retail, consumer electronics, right? This was when we worked for Circuit City.
Yeah, and you got this shiny, beautiful store.
I had the most beautiful store in all of the region, and you had the lowest performing store in all of the region.
Not the lowest performing store.
No, it was low performing when you got it. You didn't drive it into the ground. It was a piece of shit. But my point is that was a tough time in our marriage, but I don't think that I knew that you were upset. I mean, I knew that you were kind of resentful a little bit.
It wasn't so much that I was resentful. I felt like I had a larger mountain to climb.
You did.
Like with less resources.
But you did.
It's like, hey, we're going to climb Mount Everest right now. And somebody's like, here, we got you a brand new, state of the art climbing equipment. They were like, oh, here, you get like shoes.
You get a stick. You get a hiking stick.
You get a.
So would you say though that one of the problems was we were both very competitive? And so that is a problem. Like, you secretly were competing against me, and I was already winning, so I didn't know you were competing.
No, because I think here's the thing. I think too is that not only there's competitive, but when you're in a relationship, and everybody can kind of attest to this, when you're in a relationship and you know each other's skills and weaknesses, and you're like constantly looking at like all of those things, like like you would say, I'm pretty good as a leader. You're pretty good as a leader, and you're getting different results. Right. It makes you like, like think about things like, how can, she's getting these results, I'm getting these results.
Yeah.
Like, was that making me less than? Right. And so you start to doubt yourself, and you start to doubt like who you are, just simply because you're just too close in proximity to the same work.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's something you have to learn. If it was to happen again,
I don't think I would want to work for the same company as you, with like us being direct competitors.
Right.
Like, you run an Apple store, I run a store. I don't think that I want to compete with you at this stage in our marriage,
Right.
like where we're at. There's certain things I love to watch you shine in, and I want you to have your own space.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is that as a mature leader now, I don't look at myself as competing with like folks in my peers.
Yeah.
I've completely, that has changed. I think for many years I was like, okay, I got to beat this person. I got to beat this person. But the reality is you work for the same organization.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
well, questionable. The reality is there's a scorecard, and one of you is going to be on top.
there's a scorecard, but what you do has nothing to do with me.
Absolutely.
Right. But in my brain back then, it was like everything I'm doing has something to do with this person, so I have to win. And so I have a different perspective than that. But I think you should not share the same.
So if we had to do it over, would we agree we would not work for the same company?
We would not. I mean, I would be able to handle it differently this time, but I would say.
But it would be healthier for our marriage to not work for the same company.
Yeah.
Also, like, kind of just pause. We worked for the same company, and not only was this happening in our household and in our workplace, but then the company wound up going out of business, and then we had all of our eggs in one basket,
right, exactly.
And then that was what forced us to file bankruptcy. Right. And so I would just say, do not ever work for the same company again, no matter how successful it is.
Well, we work for the same company now.
Well, we own the company. Okay, moving on. Number 2 on this list is couples should not share the same parents. They just should not. I think that this is like, let's just say that like you've got exes and step parents, and like you live in a small town, and like people date each other, and like, I don't know, somehow, I don't know, it's on the list. I'm going to skip over it. Next thing. It says phobias. Couples shouldn't share the same phobias. Like, because somebody has to kill the spiders, right? If you're both afraid of spiders.
Oh, yeah. Somebody's got to kill a spider, and somebody's got to be able to handle the roach, the whatever insect, whatever it is, or talk you off the ledge if you can't fly. Like, there has to be, because if people have the same phobia, it is ridiculous.
Well, then you kind of feed off of each other, and you like validate it, and then you, before you know, you're both like not going to touch the rat or the possum or the spider or jump off the cliff or whatever. Like, you got to have some sort of like, one of you can do really well in this area, the other one needs the support of the other one.
Well, I think if something happens, like especially if it's an animal, and both of us are running.
Again, you'd be a little bitch if you were.
Every person's for themselves, and that's not a most good place to be in your marriage, where you're pushing your wife down, or you've
done that before. You've done that before. Your phobia is possums. You have absolutely done that before.
Stepped up when I needed to.
No. You've absolutely done that before. It's the joke in the house. Every man for himself if dad sees a possum. You're not coming to save us.
Well, you don't care. Do you care about possums?
Yeah, I don't want to be the one in charge of the possums. I think all rodents just go to you. Like, period. The only time that there has been an exception to your possum phobia is when I came home one day. This is a true story. We were starting the bakery, working from home, and we walked up to the walkway, and there was a dead possum in the walkway leading up to my house. And, possums play dead, so I ran. I was just like, ah! And then it was dead. And so we had to tell you to go get it. And I knew that was a big phobia of yours. Anyways, you got a big trash bag. You took care of it.
I took care of it.
Yeah. Good job to you. But I don't think that couples should share the same phobias.
No.
Moving on, stressors. I think that things that trigger you should not be the same things that trigger me, because one person needs to be chill and kind of like reasonable in order to like just keep the coolness, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think this was tough, because if you're in a relationship right now, and let's just say certain things like freak you out or stress you out, whether it's political things or
Right.
or your financial situations.
Yeah, but if
right?
it's political things and you're both freaking out and like flipping tables and stuff over the same things, not a good combo.
Not a good combo at all.
No.
And I think, and I also think that it is okay not to have political views in common.
Mm-hmm.
I know you feel a little bit different about that, but I do think that there is a space to say, hey, we don't exactly agree on this political topic, right?
Yeah.
Because I think it's something
It's good dialogue.
It's good dialogue for your relationship if you can handle it. And
Yeah.
these days people can't handle it,
No.
so I get it, but yeah, 100%.
Okay, things you should not share in common. You should both not have this overwhelming desire to win, this need to win. And so they're saying that because there's going to be fights, disagreements, and if you're both like, I'm going to win every time, then that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, see, I agree. I disagree. I compartmentalize the things I want to win at now. Like, if it's with you, I'm like, I don't want to win.
What do you mean?
Like, there's things like, if they're talking about like in a debate or a conversation
Mm-hmm.
or over who was right or who was wrong, and you win that dialogue.
Yeah.
If that is like something you are serious about, and I think we have both been there, then that is not helpful for the relationship. I think that gets to a place where, to the saying I say, you're trying to be right instead of get it right.
Right.
And so I think you have to get to a place where you're like, I'm not competitive in this moment of like our disagreement on this particular situation. And I think when you get there, then I think what ends up happening is you move to a place of listening and understanding, and then compromise comes from that.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like competition though, like it's really difficult to compartmentalize. Like this is basically saying like if you're a true competitor in everything and you're both competitors, then there will be a need to debate and I have to win, you have to win. That's a problem, right?
Right.
And I do think that in a healthy, non-toxic relationship, you shouldn't be focused on who wins the fights, but I would be lying if I said that I do think most women are like, check mark, ding ding, won that one. like keeping kind of tally, won that one too.
Do you think that is the most mature position?
No,
okay,
not at all.
Make sure.
No, but I think if we took a poll and women were to be honest, like, and they're having a debate or an argument or a discussion with their husbands, most women are going to be passionate about something that they feel very strongly about, that they're right about.
Right.
And then if it comes back that they were right, they're like, check mark. Yep. Won that one. Just like I won the other one. Like, I do think that there's a mental checklist where women are keeping score.
What does your scorecard say now?
Oh, my scorecard's so high. I can't even.
Against
there's
me?
No more. Of course.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
Okay.
There's rarely a debate that you can win against me.
Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Well, we're not talking about like debates, like political debates.
Oh.
No, we're talking about like things that come up, that are discussions.
You said this, and no,
Yeah.
I didn't say that. And
About
then we
the
find
children,
evidence.
about like something we should do, about how something should be handled, about a conversation, something like that, where it's like, oh, yeah, well, if we would have done this, then we wouldn't be in this situation. There's definitely a scoreboard.
Really?
Everybody has a scoreboard.
I don't have a scoreboard.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
There are certain things.
Not on things where we're talking about like guessing what the outcome is going to be of a particular decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether we go right or left, or should the kids do this or should we do this? Like, I don't keep track of those things. I just don't.
No, but we're very much like, let's just make the best of it, though.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
So it's not like a scoreboard that makes me hate you. Like, if he would have done this,
but
and this.
I do think that from what I gather, women do keep some type of scorecard. The bad part about that is that it's one of those scorecards that get thrown in your face.
Well, it's invisible usually.
It's invisible,
yeah.
but when there is a situation that comes
when
up
it's
that reminds them,
yeah.
oh, I need to pull my scorecard
Yeah.
on this fool
Yeah.
because he has no clue that I have a winning record when it comes to these decisions. To me, that's kind of bad. That's not the most mature thing. It's like, here, look at my scorecard.
Well,
now listen to me.
I mean, is there a better way to do that?
No, I mean,
I think it's like pulling out your previous citations.
Like receipts?
Yeah.
Like, okay, here are all my receipts of all my
These are the
victories.
receipts, and then it falls to the ground.
I have more championships. Phil Jackson could coach a better team than this. I am winning when it comes to who makes the best decisions.
I definitely think if you took a poll, there's going to be one person in the relationship that has the receipts, that has a scoreboard, and that at any moment could pull out the receipts.
You know, sometimes there has to be a person that's just a better person that doesn't have
and
to
that's
do those
why
things.
This is about not having things in common.
This is true. Okay,
right?
so that makes sense.
Okay, so that's need to win. Quickly over this one, because I think this is a no-brainer, but people should not share, like, you're both indecisive. No. Oh, then you're like, where are we going to eat? You wind up just not eating because you can't make a decision. So yeah, don't be indecisive. Don't date another person if you are indecisive. That is
Do you think that there's a space to say, hey, I don't think there's a way for me to get over this indecision and this and being indecisive. Okay. So I really need you to get better at it. Like if I say, hey, I don't think there's any hope for me. I don't think I can really make a solid decision, not ever, right? So I need you to be the decision maker going forward because I just can't do it. And then I say, here are some courses for you to get better at making decisions. I voted you
because I just don't want to do it.
I just don't want to get better.
Well, there's a one key area that I don't make decisions in that I like 100% I'm relying on you, and that is what shows we watch. Whatever entertainment it is, like I don't keep up with current pop culture stuff. I don't know when the new Marvel movies are coming out. Right. I don't know what the new releases are.
You need guidance
so I have 100% relinquished that to you. It's your responsibility to entertain me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Now, when it comes to food, a lot of times we're both like, I don't care, pick. Like, not a big deal. Yeah, but if you're both...
That could put on me. Like, just pick something, honey. What do you want?
Yeah, because I just want you to do it. So indecisiveness is definitely something that could be harmful. The next thing, which is odd, is flaws. You shouldn't share the same flaws. It's always nice when your partner is good at the things that you're not, and vice versa. This is how we learn and we get better. What do you think?
I think that's a perfect world. Yeah. I think that the flaws also could be one of the things that is in common
that attracts you to the other person.
You suck at that too. Me too. So,
or you don't even know that you suck at it. You're like, oh, they like to talk shit about people. I like to talk shit about people too.
Like it's unaware.
It's like a toxic trait that you don't even know that it is a flaw, but you flock to other people that do the same thing.
Well, there's definitely couples that I think this flaw one is interesting because I do think that over time people start to mirror each other's flaws. Mm-hmm. Like I think that over time you start to be more like your spouse and vice versa. And so I think that there are things you take on from that person that you normally probably wouldn't. Yeah. And you just kind of merge. And so then before you know it, you're gossiping both together. Like, oh, I can't wait to hear the tea because I know she's going to spill the tea. And so that is something really interesting.
Isn't it kind of though, you're supposed to, I use the word gossip lightly because I don't think that we're gossipers, but I definitely think that if I'm going to talk to anybody about anything, it's going to be you.
Yeah. On your treasure chest of all the crazy.
Say it again.
Treasure chest.
Oh, what?
Treasure chest.
Okay, I just wanted you to slow it down. Yeah, treasure
chest.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I am your treasure chest of
Okay.
Of crazy thoughts and statements that you make. I do keep them locked up.
You should.
I have a list.
Okay. So you're keeping score.
It's about you're at 98,000 crazy shit.
You have receipts.
Could you imagine? I'm like, and back in 2012, you said this right before bed.
It'd be awesome if you did that, actually. I'd give you such an A for effort that you put so much thought into something.
Yeah.
Honestly.
That's hilarious.
Okay, number 9, speaking of flaws, is they should not share in common the fact that they both have problems with managing money.
Okay.
100% agree with
100%.
that. I will say this, though, that I think that if one person's really good at managing money, they're probably not going to be attracted to someone who is not good at managing their money.
Well, I think what I think it is I think it's a little bit deeper than that. I think if both individuals struggle with the psychology of money, right? Like how they think about money, then you got big problems. But I think because what you have is a situation where no, this is the thing I think you have to have in common. Let me retract that. Because I think when you don't have it in common, the psychology of money, one person spends like crazy, right? And another person's counting every single penny. And then before you know it, that is going to cause a cataclysmic, eruption of problems.
I've seen it in my family.
Yeah, because one person, like, their psychology of money is it's not enough. Another person is just like, just buy this, right? And so that I think you definitely have to have in common 100%. But I don't think both, you have to have in common being good at managing money from a standpoint of like checks and balances and budgeting and stuff like that. I don't think you do, but I think you have to like share the same psychology around money.
Well, this is good. Number 10 is couples should not share in common the fact that they're always keeping track of everything or keeping score. Only one person should keep score. So checking that box, moving on.
I'm glad you hold the title
I'll accept that.
Petty number scorekeeping on this relationship.
You should not share in common ex-lovers.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Sure.
Moving on.
What list is this from?
I don't know.
Oh my
It's
God.
on Bustle. You should not share in common the same pooping schedule.
Oh yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Luckily, you're really good in that area, and I kind of struggle in that area.
I'm not glad that you struggle, but I'm glad you're not in my way. I'm glad you're not. I'm glad you're not keeping me from having a free flowing place.
This is bad.
So yeah. That's great.
They should not share the same appearances. Couples that look the same, look like twins or siblings, it's just weird. So they're saying don't pick someone who looks just like you. I kind of agree with that. You know who looks similar? Jay Shetty and his wife look really similar. Like they say they have colored eyes. Yeah. They're the same skin tone. And they say it all the time. People think that they're brother and sister. Like that, I wouldn't want people to always think.
For them?
It's not a bad thing. It's just like, it's a fun list, whatever. Yeah. I don't know that I'd really want to look like you.
Oh.
Would you want to look like, I'm saying
pretty.
I think you're very handsome too. Sidebar, your mom asked you today, she said, do you think that you're handsome?
No, she asked you, does he know?
Well, she said, do you think that he's handsome? Because I complimented you. And she said, does he know that he's handsome? And I was like, yeah. And she said, do you think that you're handsome? And I said, Mom, I think everybody in our family thinks that they're like decently attractive. You included.
Conceited folks.
Because you are always coming over to the house talking about, this customer told me today how great my skin looks and this and that. So yes, I do think that
some conceited
it was so funny. So I don't think I want to look like, I don't want people asking all the time, are you guys related? Are you brother and sister? That's weird.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
That's weird.
Okay.
Can I say this?
Sure.
I don't think that people should have the same hobbies.
Okay, tell me more.
Because I think that hobbies are a place for you to like recreate yourself.
It's yours. And you just want to be selfish with it?
Yeah, it's like your place. And I think that there's so much in the relationship you share. I think where your hobbies are and like things that help you kind of like clear your mind, get some rest and recovery, maybe even play, should not be the same. I mean, you can share some things, but I think there are some things that should be like, hey, you that's for you. Yeah. You love to do that. I love to do this.
What hobbies do you have?
Like I really enjoy when I play golf. I don't do it. I don't get to play often, but that's a hobby that I enjoy. It's competitive. It's it's taxing on the body. I like things that test my physical capabilities. It's crazy from a standpoint of it's hard to get good at. So it's not something you get to a place where you're like, oh, I'm mastering it. Yeah. Right. So what's your hobby?
I have a lot of things I want to do as hobbies right now. One of them is like, I want to play with ceramics. I don't know. I want to learn.
You've been saying that for a couple
I've been saying that for a few years and I just haven't made the time to go do that, but I really do want to do that. I don't think I want you to come with me. Right. It's not that I don't enjoy your company. It's that I know that wouldn't be something that you'd really love. You might, I don't know, but I want to do that.
I also think it can cause some issues where, like, say you have more time to do it, and I love to do it too. I love to spin the wheel.
But you don't get to do it as much as me.
And then, like, you're like, hey, what'd you do today? You're like, oh, I went.
Yeah.
did pottery today, or is that what it's called?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's ceramics and spinning the wheel and all that.
Also, because we're competitive, I'd be like, well, mine looks better than yours.
Yeah, and like I'm like, oh, you got to do that today. I'm like, I can't do it. I won't be able to do it for
I got more practice.
6 months.
Yeah, that could cause a lot of resentment.
Yeah. So I think
if we were both trying to get good at something, I mean, this month we were trying to learn Duolingo.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, that's great that you did your 30 minutes of Italian. Meanwhile, who the fuck is making dinner? Like, you're sitting over here doing your Duolingo. I could easily get like, okay, the scoreboard is fucked up right now. Like,
but that's
a perfect example. Don't share the same hobbies. Good job.
I'm glad I don't keep score.
Yeah, I do. I keep it for you. You should not share the same bad communication skills. I will say that that's a requirement for me though. Like someone who has bad communication skills, if I have good communication skills, I'm not going to work well with that.
Yeah.
I don't have the time to invest in that.
With this.
So if I died tomorrow and you had to find a replacement wife or girlfriend and she sucked at communication, but I was great at communication and you're great at communication, you wouldn't be okay with that?
No, I would not.
What if she's super hot?
No, because the communication is so important because I think that when a person doesn't communicate well, especially when something's stressful or there's a disagreement, the better the communication, the quicker you can get past it. And you know me, I don't hang on to any grudges. Like I don't hang on to any type of animosity whatsoever. So when people are like, oh, I haven't talked to this person in 2 days, I'm like, I would be losing my. Can we get past this? Can we get to a place?
Luckily, we don't do that shit.
Right, but if you're interacting with someone who does not communicate well, now you're hostage.
Yeah,
you like it's a hostage thing. Like I'm a communicator. I can't even communicate with you because you don't want to anymore. Right, and I think that is very troubling.
Deal breaker for 100%. Both of us.
Yeah.
Okay, you should not share the same toothbrush. That's gross.
Why would I even be something you're in
We don't
common?
even share the same loofah. Let me just we don't share the same washcloth, the same loofah. We don't share the same toothbrush for sure.
Yeah, that's not sanitary.
Yeah, that's
because
gross.
there are germs that are okay, like your body's like I'm cool with, and there's germs in my body's like I'm cool with, and like if you cross contaminate, then they're like,
I don't want that.
No.
If we're getting ready to travel.
If you're listening to this right now, and you are sharing a toothbrush with your spouse,
Shame on you.
I think that's very primitive. It's not like a caveman thing, but I think it's very. It's like. I will give you a toothbrush.
And the thing is
I will mail you 25,000.
But people might say, "Well, you already swap spit and other bodily fluids,
but not in a.
But I don't want your tartar in my mouth."
Right, not in
that's
that's
disgusting.
What I'm saying. In a concentrate, like you brush repeatedly, like
hard.
It's concentrated. Yeah. It's like not like
it's literally pulling the plaque off of your teeth. I don't want it on mine.
You're removing the thing that you don't want.
The dirt.
Yeah, and then you rinse it off, and then somebody comes behind you and goes, "You think your rinse is off good enough? Whatever." No.
So if we were traveling and, our luggage got lost, we don't want that to happen. But if it did and we had one toothbrush, would we do it?
Yeah, well, you've used my toothbrush before on accident. And then we have to boil some water.
Right.
And
I'm all for the boiling.
Get it to a place where I can use it now. Right. And I don't even, but that's it.
We would boil water and we would share the same toothbrush. Right. Yeah. Okay. I got it.
So there's
I don't want your plaque or your tartar.
Brushing your teeth in the morning would probably just take 30 minutes because we've got
You should not share both the inability to not cook.
Yeah, but I think that's rampant. I think that's a thing that a lot of people already struggle with.
Especially like the younger generations. I think they just eat out so much that it's like, you don't cook, I don't cook. Who cares? We'll just order out. I think one person probably has to teach the other person how to cook.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something for me. Like, I don't know how you kept yourself alive before you had me. Like, your mom didn't necessarily teach you. But I'm glad you know how to do it now, thanks to me. So, and then the last one is, this is kind of funny. You shouldn't share the same name. We know, do you remember Aaron and Aaron? Yeah. Aaron was married, ERIN was married to AARON. That was interesting. Every single time they go to a party, hi, I'm Aaron, and this is my wife, Erin. Yeah. That can be problematic.
It's just confusing.
Yeah. Well, this just says that it's weird. So I'm glad that your name's not Janelle.
I'm just glad we don't share the same parent.
Yeah. I bet you though that could be, that's not too far off. My dad has definitely flirted with your mom. Like that's an example. If my dad tried to hit on your mom and they wound up together in their 60s or something like that, then that would be a problem.
Yeah.
Like your father-in-law is now your stepdad.
Weird.
You shouldn't share the same parents.
No.
No.
In any way that it's possible, it shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
100%.
So
firmly against that.
Anyways.
That was fun. That was interesting. Right?
So let me know if there's something on this list that you do share, or like share this with your partner, with your spouse, whoever you're dating. Because I do think you should go down the list if you're dating and be like, all right, we need a checklist. Let's keep score. And, which things do you possess skills in? What do I possess skills in? Because I just think this will help you in the future.
Yeah, I think that when you have things that are very, very different, it allows the relationship to grow in a very unique and special way, because you're able to share your thoughts, your perspectives. For hopefully the person you're dating is open-minded. So I think you should be open-minded, and that's something that you should have in common, so that you can share the things that are different about each other and grow from there. So that's great.
Love it. Anyways, if this episode was fun for you, share it with a friend and family member. Take a few seconds to leave us a rating or a review, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Oh, and go follow us on TikTok. We are the Copelands.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Push through.